Holy circle of infinite light. Infinite light shining infinitely. And then the idea, the tiny mad idea, the little oopsie. Just let's ask Jesus. So just so we can all be clear, because we can all hear Jesus. Everyone's speaking Jesus in this club. And let's just ask Jesus if it's a little oopsie and hear the truth. Is Jesus making a big deal out of the miscreation of the world? Who's making a big deal out of it? We are. We're going to make, that little cheering thing that I sent out into the group where, what do we want? Who are we? Egos. What do we want? Problems. Why? Because we like them. So it's just admitting that we really like all the kerfuffling. The kerfuffle. We think we can be friends with I equals hell. Hashtag I equals hell. I think we're going to be friends with the ego. No, we're not. It's not your friend, as Jesus said. It wants you dead. As David said, it's going to pursue you after you die. The body falls away. Let's just ask Jesus, in the light of divine being, honesty of God, is the ego going to pursue us even after our seemingly the body falls away? Hear the yes. Yes. So we have to look now, because divinity, heaven's not after a body's RIP, is now. In the infinite light of being and honesty of God is RIP now. RIP. It's not on a tombstone. Oh, it's not on a tombstone. We really need to be clear about that and where the tombstones are. I just said, Jesus, we're living in a graveyard. He says, yep. That's why he said, let the dead bury their dead. He focus on life, infinite life that's here, because he knew it's a play in consciousness. Going to a funeral, it might be guided. We can't really say. You never know how the body will be used in service. There's nothing off limits. Ask the spirit in terms of being sent to a funeral or other types of things. It's just seeing it's here now. That there's no one or no thing that can come in like a thief in the night and do it to us. Like we watched Dark City, a little clip, little short mini movie from Dark City, where he seems to be being pursued by these little beings coming to get him. That's what we believe about Jesus. Coming to get me. God's gonna get me. That has to play in consciousness for consciousness to continue to deny divinity. And at the end, he gets it. Supreme being are not beholding to any kind of darkness. Is the light of divine being beholding to darkness? Is it like running in terror? The light, is the light running in terror? Is it diving under the cloud? Let's just send the devil over to the light and see how those two work together. We need to look at, because these are the beliefs below level of awareness, that the devil, that Satan, Lucifer is a fallen angel, but he's still an angel. Is God intimidated by Lucifer? Let's just ask. He's still a light bearer. Lucifer, light. It's a symbol that you can't lose light. Even Lucifer. Lucifer, light bearer. He's still got light in his name. A fallen angel because he took a step off the edge and said no to divinity. It's play in consciousness that it's possible to be a fallen angel. You're still an angel. He's still got wings. God doesn't see that the light doesn't, we talked about this before. See that the light, can we find a way for the light to cast something out? The light going around casting things out of heaven. You know, it's got heaven had like a little edge, a little cliff, and things are, you know, we're all being pushed off the edge. Get out. Let's see if the light has an edge to it where it's pushing. Because that's what the play is. The play is that you get booted off the cliff. The light's going to boot us off the cliff. It's true. We can ask Jesus. He'll tell us. Jesus is consciousness play like that. Is he saying no? No, he's not saying no. He's saying yes. That's exactly how conscious is playing. It plays like there's some kind of edge you're going to fall off. And that you're hanging on so you won't go over the edge when we're already infinite. I don't want to go. I don't want to. It's like a kid in the store. You're right there and you got a cart full of candy. I mean, it's loaded with candy and that child is just on the floor. Not that one, Mom. You didn't buy the right one for me. He's like in a state of holy terror. And Dara's laughing because she's right in the middle of it. Not that one, Mom. That's what we're saying to God. Not that one. I don't want to be infinite. It's so true. Let's ask Jesus. Is that what we're doing? And he's I don't. Okay, so we need his help. We can just ask because we're infinite beings. It's so valuable to see that the light is not intimidating. That's why he says you must rely on me. Because you believe you need to dive under a couch to hide from the light. Ask him. You want to, there are times when you just feel like you want to hide under the couch, but go under the couch and notice that the light's still with you under the couch. It can never leave you. So if you're feeling like you want to run, just go from over here to over there and see if the light's still there. You see, it's just a feeling that's arising in infinite love, pretending like love's not here. It's seeped with infinite love because there's nothing other than that. Ask the light, is there anything other than love? He'll like, no. They're just like soaking in light, pretending. So we're going to look at some more pretend. The New Covenant chapter 20 is such a valuable chapter for me. Thank you, Jesus. He knew I needed a condensed version because he knew I couldn't probably, he's laughing, because he knew I wouldn't get through, like, how did Helen do that, please? And Bill, God bless their holy souls, right? I mean, 7 years of Jesus said sometimes they weren't listening closely, so it took a little longer. But I mean, when you think, you know, not knowing anything about it, it's pretty phenomenal. It's more than phenomenal, really. It's just devotion for all of us, symbols of devotion. Now he's, you know, we can talk to him direct. Before there was fear, too much fear, so he had to kind of eke it in. He had to eke it in. Now he's just going, all right, you're supreme being. Time to go direct. Come on over. I got the coffee on. We'll have a little fireside chat. Little fireside chat every day with Jesus. So we're looking at, it's got a lot on bodies in this section, these pages. So we'll look at body identification with him. The belief that bodies limit mind. leads to the perception of the world in which proof of separation is everywhere. Now, we've been talking about this. And I asked him, do we go through this again? He says, yes, because we believe that what's infinite can be limited by a body. So let's just go ahead and ask him, Jesus, is it possible for the body to limit what's infinite in our direct experience? Can we find a way in infinite light that it's limited by a body? Is Jesus agreeing with us that it's limited by a, like, no. The desire, thus you desire experience where the body seems to limit the mind. See, as those desires fall away, it just becomes, like, we can see it for a moment in the light, but you really even don't think about the body so much anymore even. It's just, it's neutral. Like he says, it becomes very neutral in experience. Yes, you like to eat, food tastes good and things, but it's, you can just start to notice how that little itch, it was just a hunger. You were just following the body around everywhere, whatever the body, seemingly a body had more power than we do. Ask Jesus, the light of divine being, is there a desire for experience for a body to have more power than infinite light? Is there a desire to have an experience where the body is more important, more value than holiness? Boy, that came immediate. Yes. Jesus, can you show me the desire for a body to be more value than holiness? Put any value in a body over holiness in the light of divine being and see the concept of a body, like the body is just an outpicturing of thought. Ask the light, is the body just an outpicturing of thoughts? You can hear Jesus tell you. See, it's just an image that's, and then the multi-visual sounds, taste, touch. We can ask him, Jesus, is the body real? And hear him answer, no. Can you help me see through all the body identification? Says, when you work with me, that's the first thing we'll be working. Numero uno. To see through that play in consciousness that the body is real. See, he says that, and it's a good reminder. He's bringing up how you can't deny the body. Like, don't deny it that you have one. He's not asking to deny it. That's false denial. He's reminding. You can see with him that it does not exist. That's a very different experience. Through releasing the desires, it becomes less dense. It's not, it doesn't, you're not led around on a string by a body, little assignments and things to care for the body anymore. Less and less care for the body because it just does whatever it does. I just said, Jesus, so can we just turn the whole body over to you? Yes. Give it to me. Put it under Christ's control. He says you'll never feel more free than if you do that. Because you'll start to see how much the body, again, all these worries about bodies and, it's really living in a tomb. It's entombing ourselves in a body, in death, rather than joy, than our natural state, which is joy. You always feel tight and constricted, and you're going to feel like we're attacked and somebody's doing something to us, and you're running through dark city, trying to find the light. He goes, give it the body to me. The belief that bodies limit the mind leads to a perception of the world in which proof of separation seems to be everywhere. Jesus, is there a desire to use the body to try and prove that separation is everywhere? And just hear what he says. Can you show me where I'm using the body to prove separation is everywhere? Because seeing your brother as body, he's reminding me, when we see our brother as a body, taking pills for pain, he doesn't make anything wrong. He just points, there's a better way with me, especially now that we can talk to him. Yes, when there was a time when we'd be terrified to talk to Jesus, he's just saying, okay, if you're going to be more terrified, and take placebos. But now that we can talk to him, we can at least have a conversation about it with him before we take a pill or some kind of investment in a body investment. Just have it's just a conversation with a friend, and not hiding anything from ourselves. Thus you desire the experience where the body seems to limit the mind, and thus to experience finding proof of separation everywhere through experiences of the body. Let's just ask, in the light of divine being and honesty of God, can a body prove separation? It's a concept. Cannot prove that separation is here. That's why even asking if I can say that. That's why even saying someone's not enlightened, that's making them a body, because there's the light's just here. One being enlightened and another being enlightened. That has nothing to do with anything. That's like a concept, that enlightenment, that the light's not already here. That's like saying, look at his ego is so strong. No, if you say that ego is strong, you believe in an ego. See, the light's showing us that the ego does not exist. See if the ego and the light coexist together. We come back to, you believe bodies can join, thus you desire experience of bodies joining to deny that the infinite mind is already joined. We can ask him, Jesus, do I use the idea that bodies can join to deny infinite light? And just show me how. Because we can still have fantasies about bodies joining. See how much the mind is preoccupied by bodies joining. That bodies can join, the belief that bodies can join. Ask him if it's all right to say that bodies can come together and make a baby. Let's just be clear on that. Do two bodies coming together make babies? Let's ask the light. It's just not possible. They're concepts. It's hard to look at kids and say they're a concept. They're concepts. It's an idea. We need to see it. If we really want to be who we are, we have Jesus. Yes, he's just saying this is just what is. Otherwise, we're using seemingly bodies in front of us, all sizes, shapes, and form, to try to prove that they're real and more real than infinite light. And we'll suffer it. We can appreciate them as our brother. They're little kids are beacons of light. That's why he doesn't make sex outside for procreation wrong. You know, he doesn't, nothing's really wrong. It's just we're looking at nothing's wrong. See no error. He's just showing us where we do see error and where the play of consciousness is to generate experience of guilt, which is through bodies joining. It's just an attempt to achieve unity through a body. And we can just ask the light, can unity be found through two bodies joining? It can't happen. Can't get unity that way. Can unity be recognized? Let's ask the light. Can unity be recognized through two bodies joining? The body does appear to be the symbol of sin while you believe it can get you what you want. This is why there's so much guilt around a body, because we think a body's important to getting us to what we want. Oh, that's just death. It's so heavy. Let's ask them. You desire and experience the body getting what you want. That's instant sadness is what that is. That's like instant feeling of instant death. You start to see that when a body's used to get something that you want. You'll feel bereft, actually. If you look really deeply, that's what I'm seeing. The body is a vehicle for getting something. Oh my gosh, that's heavy death. Well, we don't see it because we're so used to using the body that way and think the body's purpose is to get something. Whew. It's smoking exhausting. You'll start to feel that energy when you go, that's what's so beautiful. I notice, we start noticing that after the course for a while, and you see that getting mechanism right in front of you. It just comes right up in your face of wanting something. Like he's showing those desires, but now we know how to work with him to clear that energy of the body being a getting mechanism. And because we see how much guilt and unhappiness is underneath that, trying to get something through a body. This can never tell you who you are. That's why we always feel bereft when we're trying to get something through a body. Because what we really want is to see who we are. And then really, till we've seen that getting is the belief that salvation is in getting something through a body, we'll just always feel bereft. We'll just feel stripped of love. That love and joy is impossible. But that's its purpose. Its purpose in the play of consciousness is for the experience that love is MIA, can never be fully completed. We're always searching for completion, searching for love in all the wrong places. This can never tell you who you are. Let's just ask Jesus. Does the body, well, we can ask ourselves because we've all been around the consciousness block for a while. Has the body trying to get me, quote unquote, what I want, can that tell me who I am? Can the body doing something ever tell me who I am? This is where the rubber hits the road. The body cannot, its motions, its movement, can its movement of a body ever, in any case whatsoever, tell us who we are? Yet that's the play in consciousness. That's the play. That somehow this body is going to do something that's going to ultimately win me salvation from death, which when it's It's neutral. While you believe it can give you pleasure, you will also believe it can bring you pain. Jesus, is there any desire for the experience of pleasure through the body anymore? You could just sit with them with that. Or pain, because they're the same. You can start to see if some pain shows up in the body, and we've talked about this before, you just kind of sit with it with Jesus. There's so much love in this, it's insane. Infinite love is in this looking. And just sit with it and just notice it. We just get curious again, that last Mimsy, we're just kind of, well, I'm just going to explore pain. Let's just explore it this time. And set aside what I think it is. That sounds fantastic, actually. And we just set aside what we think that the sensation is. And notice it as the light. And see if first of all, the quality of it will change immediately as you look at it as light. It's as soon as it's identified, it becomes this dense something, because that's the plane of consciousness. It's going to take nothing and try to make something out of it. And so it feels dense. So what it is it's a pushing out, it's attempt to project out, push away all the anger, fear, and guilt. It to try to get away from it. But because it's all within totality, it still appears, but it seems to be your foot or your whatever, or your head, like he said to me, and you think you have a head, which is hilarious. So we just explore it if it appears. Because what happens is we want to push it away and get away from it. And, oh my God, take a pill and cover it over, not look. And now it's just like, okay, let's just get curious. Let's just have a talk with Jesus about it. Because it's very convincing. And particularly on the spiritual journey, things have been going really smooth. And all of a sudden, who are we? I think it was Renee and I were sitting there, wasn't it? That time can't remember. We were just going to look at something deep. Right? Was that you? I can't remember. Or was it Christy? It doesn't matter. It's all the same because we're all the same. Just one speaking. But anyway, and we just were going to go deep, and they caught it. They could see that there was a pain coming up in their side. That was you? Okay, see, found the culprit. No. No, I found the lesson giver, the one who was delivering the beautiful message. And she caught it, like it was a beautiful reflection. She saw that every time we'd get close or to looking, this pain would arise. Do you remember how that resolved? I don't know. You just I decided
to rest a minute because it was intense pain.
Yeah, it was.
I knew it was a cover over.
An intense pain, but she knew it was a cover over. She's saying, and and it was so beautiful that we were together. So that's the gift with each other, to just look right at it and go, what's this? That's curious, rather than, because we're so used to going, it's like the red lights on the deck of the Enterprise when the enemy's coming, and it's wah, 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 and it feels so real. But Jesus, he will deconstruct that baby for you. He will abjectly deconstruct it to nada. Just keep working with them. And if it's still showing up, that means humbly that if pain's still showing up, it's usually a piece of personal identity that's being held on to, like tightly. That's why we need him to go in there and be the surgeon, and because we're so afraid to look to see there's nothing, then we keep that pain or physical symptom or emotional. It's all the same. The story around it can get really, but all it is, it's like Jesus, ask Jesus about it. Jesus doesn't have a finger that goes like this. That's the ego's plan. He just goes, no, look, let's just look at it together. And then I'll show you underneath it that that there's a confused idea. There's a confused idea that you can get love through it, salvation. When you look deeply, that's all you're going to find. Show me, you can go direct with them. Show them where I'm trying to get salvation out of this. And we had a really beautiful joining today with Rita. I hope you'll record that because it's just so beautiful, where she's looking at some physical symptoms she had been having, and she's looking at it with Jesus and how clear he was making that. And her just beautiful symbol of willingness just to look deeply at those. So we're looking deeply at pleasure because we're so used to looking also at the things that causes pain. So getting just one more thing about pain is really being with it until you can get, and you can just sort of notice, boy, I want this. I like it actually. Boy, when Jesus was showing me that, and I'm just going, holy smokes. He still does, you know. Oh, you're right. But now I know, as so many times he's shown me, I know that there's a wanting and really liking. And you can actually see how there's actually pleasure in pain. The guilty pleasure of pain, both emotional and physical, but sometimes it, you know, appears different ways just because we want the different entertainment. And really looking at the things that we're drawn to that seem pleasurable too, to see that there's pain under that. Thus you desire an experience of the body getting what you want so you can experience sin, the experience of pain and pleasure on a timeline. It just starts to feel heavy, really. You believe the body can give you pleasure, thus you desire an experience of pain. Let's ask Jesus so we can be clear. Jesus, does the desire for pleasure automatically mean we desire pain? And here, yes, it's just like, yes, we know it. No way to get around it. That's why when it's given, it's so helpful. I think I mentioned this, like when I went to get in the jacuzzi and I said, well, you know, Jesus, you know, I really like this jacuzzi. He said, it's function. And when it's assigned as function, there's no miscreation in that. You're not stacking guilt. That's when you can rest in peace with him. Just be in the being with him. So there's no, and also, okay, he's right. There's no getting mechanism in it. See, there's no getting then. When it's given, it's like pure. It's for a purpose. It's for purpose. You believe, oh, here's a good one for us. Oh, thank you, Jesus. It has to do with the atonement. You believe the atonement is murder. That's worth spending some time. I know, spending time with them on like all the energy around no to the atonement. Like no and no and no. I am asking, is that a good one to spend time on? He says, yes. It's so helpful. It's just so helpful, especially when, you know, and you think, oh, you know, is that enough, Jesus? Like, no. He goes, go deeper. It's like, okay, sit with again. It rises up. That no. Oh, no, you're so right. Oh, man, I don't want that, you know? And then it clears. We laugh about it. Do we need to go deeper? I can hear yes. It's like, oh, but really for it, because you see you see how the help's being given. Because we really don't know how deeply that dead energy is suppressed below our level of awareness. And he's teaching us how to let that rise easily into awareness and be, you know, cleared out. You believe the atonement is murder. Thus you desire to experience murder of yourself rather than the atonement. Let's ask him. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, well, yeah. But that's at least honesty of God. It's out there. and ultimately see there's no need for atonement whatsoever, rather than the atonement. You'd rather experience murdering ourselves. Jesus, show me all the desire to murder myself. I could try to kill myself over and over. He says, just be with the wanting of it. You're innocent. Just admit you want it. You don't want the atonement, because if we did, it would be here. It's here. It's here is whenever it's accepted, because we see in the light we're already atoned. Who's getting atoned in the light of divine being? In the light of divine being and honest through God, can anyone or anything withhold light from us? Can't happen, because the light's here. There is nothing that can take the light out of our mind unless we give it the boot. And that's to kill the light. And that's to experience death. And that's to avoid seeing that the atonement has already happened. Jesus, will you help us clear any idea that salvation is murder? That's the upside down flip. He says, just keep spending time with me. It has to be a priority. It just can't be a higher priority than this. Okay. Do one more. You desire to get rid of peace and keep guilt instead. Thus you desire an experience of guilt to deny yourself peace. Let's ask them. These are so direct. Jesus, is there a desire to get rid of guilt to peace and keep guilt instead below my level of awareness? When he's right, he's right. Okay, we admit it. Is there anything else to see? Just see how much you want it. Give it to me. And then just release it to a miracle. Oh, and just follow those miracles. They're like infinite. They're little love kisses. Thus you desire an experience of guilt to deny yourself peace. Jesus, show me where I have a desire of guilt to deny myself peace, where I'm hanging on to it. If there's any energy around that. Is there anything else to see? It says, just that you're loved. Just yawn it all out and feel relaxed. Rest in peace. Rest in me. Rest in me. I am the way, the truth, the light, because you are the way, the truth, and the life. Life itself. Infinite light. Infinite life. Amen. The happy crew over there are all waving to you. Namaste. Happy hologram.